that you would like to be answered?
Uh, oh yeah. Okay. Um, in the diabetes department, they say a lot of times they say you are borderline to the diabetes, but you don't have diabetes, and they're not treating diabetes. And they just saying like you stay on a diet, like, and they got this other one. It's I think it's related with the diabetes. It's AIC, your AIC,
HbA1c,
something
maybe?
like that.
Right,
I know I had it twisted some kind of way.
right.
And sometimes it's up and down. So,
Right.
I mean, with your diabetes, if you have the diabetes, not just borderline.
Right. So I know about this. I work in this area. Um, what they're trying to say to you is that if your sugar levels get worse,
Uh-huh.
then you will have diabetes, and so they're trying to convince you to change your diet to prevent that from happening, because you're close but you're not there yet. The way that diabetes works, it's we all sometimes have too much sugar, and then when you eventually get to that point, then once you cross over, then they might tell you that you should consider a drug. But if they can keep you on the other side of that by doing diet and exercise, then they can either prevent it or at least push it off until you get much older.
Okay, then where is the bad cholesterol and the good cholesterol?
Okay.
They always say bad and good.
Okay. So cholesterol is fat, which is different than diabetes, which is sugar, right? So your cholesterol, they're worried about how much fat you have. We all have fat. Anytime you eat anything, it's got fat in it. But when your fat gets really bad, it's flowing through your veins and it can clot. And so when you hear somebody had a stroke, well, really what happened was that the blood wasn't able to flow through because somehow there was a clog in it. And that's why they tell you to watch your bad cholesterol. The good cholesterol helps to counterbalance that. And so sometimes you'll hear them say like that some fish have good cholesterol. Right.
But if they say, like, do you have a numbness in your finger, your toes or something, and like,
right.
What's that word? Like something dingling.
Right.
Dingling
Right.
in your toes,
Yes.
and your finger, and then your
Right.
arm get numb or something. So what is that related to? That's related to the bad cholesterol or to the diabetes?
It could be either. And so I think what they tried to see is, it sounds to me like what they're saying is in your case, you're fairly healthy, but you're borderline on a couple of things. So if you start having symptoms, then that makes them want to do tests on you. As long as you're not having symptoms and your levels are good, then they just say come back in 6 months or come back in a year. And so I think what happens is doctors can look at two things. One is they look at what's in your blood, and then the second thing is they look and see if you're having symptoms. And the tingling in your arm can be caused because your blood isn't flowing right. And so it might not be that, but if you have that, then they say, okay, well, we should do a test to see, are there any clogs potentially?
Yeah, but can that also come from like
Yes.
laying like this,
Yes.
or when you sleep at
Yes.
night?
The question also is, are you having those symptoms now?
Right.
No.
Okay.
Right.
So the bottom line is that if you start having those symptoms, you know that that's probably you're going into that.
Right. So basically, when they ask these questions, a lot of it is just what Marvin's saying is they want you to think in your mind. So if every day in the middle of the day you start thinking, what's going on with my arm? That you remember, oh, my doctor asked me about that. Maybe I should call my doctor. And they just want you to remember these signs, because if they were to start happening, you'd want to go back to your doctor.
Okay. What if it just only happened the way you be laying? Like you laying on your pillow with your arm. Your arm get tired or something.
This is how you can tell. You will know. Because if something starts to be consistent, like it's consistent pain in your foot or consistent pain in a part of your arm or a part of your body that you're not leaning on, that's when you should really start being concerned.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Okay. My other last question about the issue is, you've been told that you're going to have diabetes if you don't get control over your exercise and diet. Is that correct?
No, they just told me that I'm borderline.
Right. And they say in order to prevent you from not, actually getting diabetes, they're saying you need to do certain things to take care of yourself called prevention.
Yeah.
Okay. My question to you is, if they were to say to you today, you have to stop eating sugar and you have to eliminate all salt from your doctor, or by next month, the same time, you're going to have already started to develop diabetes or hypertension or those things.
Or hypercholesterol.
My question is, would you stop taking the sugar today and the salt if they told you directly, if you don't, in a month, you're going to start having problems, physical problems? Would you be able to change? Would you be able to stop with the sugar? Would you be able to stop with the salt?
I would try, but I doubt if I would. I doubt it. I doubt if I would go right away. But I got to be honest, because that would be hit. You know, it makes it like scare me into something like smoking. Okay, all right. When I was smoking, and then every time the doctor would tell me you can't, not to smoke, not to smoke. As soon as I get out of his office, I light up a cigarette, or something like that. Then I caught a touch of pneumonia. And I went into the hospital for 3 days. And they had to put this mask, keep this mask on me. Well, when I came out of that and they told me about that smoking, wasn't a click at all.
Right.
Stopped like a drop of a dime.
Right.
Because it scared me.
Right.
Because I've never been in the hospital being sick.
Right.
Other than having my kids, but other than that.
May I ask a couple other questions? I think people, when they hear smoking, they instantly think, oh, cancer, right? Yeah. And so I think that people get really worried about that. But I think, I feel like a lot of people, we all know people with diabetes and hypertension. And so we don't think of it as that bad, the way we do cancer.
Yeah.
But yet, I think many people know that the heart disease still kills more people than cancer. And so why do you think it is that everybody, worries about cancer, but they don't worry about the heart disease?
I don't know. Maybe just ain't never hit him like it hit me, So there was no problem to stop smoking. Stop like drop of a dime without.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. You